Hi everyone, it's Karen here from Dark Moon Emporium, and in today's video I've been making a picture frame from card. This is an idea I saw on the Hobby Maker TV channel. They were showing some plywood frames that you could purchase and then you could decorate, and I wondered if I could make my very own version using greyboard, also known as chipboard. I'm working on the D1 canvas today, and the first thing that I am going to do is I'm going to add a canvas. Maybe two. Okay, I've already named my first canvas working canvas. And on canvas 2, I am going to import my image of my gears. Now this came, if you're interested, came from Creative Fabrica. And it's 12 gears all on one sheet. Right, and before I forget, I'm going to go and ungroup those because they all came in as one big group. Now, looking at these, they're all pretty usable with the possible exception of this one here, because there's no connection between the outer gear and the inner one. So that would be fine if I want to engrave the pattern, not so good if I want to cut it because that centre bit will fall out. But otherwise the rest of these are pretty usable. Okay, so canvas 3 I'm not going to use for the time being, but I'm going to rename canvas 2 as gears. And canvas 3 I'm going to rename as holding area. Now it's perfectly obvious what I'm going to have on each canvas, so I don't really need to be renaming them, but you know, for the sake of keeping things tidy, I will. Okay, so I'm going to make my my frame, the basis of my frame. And I did think about doing something fancy like a hexagon, but I've decided to keep it simple and I'm just going to make a rectangle. So I'm going to draw a rectangle that's kind of about the proportions that I want. Now I'm going to make this to fit a 6x4 inch picture, which is roughly 100 by 150. So I'm going to unlock the aspect ratio and I'm going to change the width down to 100 and the height to 150. I'm going to set my parameters to engrave just because it's easier to see, and I'm going to round off the corners a little bit. Let's have a look. How does 5 look? Yeah, I think that'll work just fine for me. So that's going to be my cutout in the middle that shows the picture that I want to put in there. So obviously I need a frame around it, and the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to create an offset, and I am going to pull that out to about 15 millimeters, and yeah, I like that. And I'm going to move that to a different layer, and I'm going to set it to engrave. Now it's now hiding my my cutout bit in the middle, so I'm going to arrange that, and I'm going to send it backwards or send to the back. It's the only two things I've got on there. Right, now I'm going to select everything, and before I go any further I'm going to copy it, and I'm going to come down to my holding area here, and I'm going to paste those, and I can now split them apart. So I've now got my backer and my actual canvas. Go back up to working area. Okay, so this is going to be my frame. Let's put that out the way. This is going to be the shape of the frame. So obviously I'm going to need a hole in the middle for so you can see the picture. So again, I'm going to select everything and I'm just going to hit subtract. Okay, and that is going to be the frame upon which I'm going to build my design. All right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to choose some of these cogs and I'm going to copy them over to my working canvas. So I'm going to pick the ones I like. So I like that one. And it's just a case of copying and pasting. And I'll just explain what I'm going to do because this is going to take a little bit of time. I'm going to play around with these shapes and resize them. And every time I resize one, I'm going to keep a copy of it. And then I'm going to work by just merging the shapes together to make nice patterns. And I'm just going to be doing this with kind of no rhyme or reason to it. So I will put you on fast forward and you get the idea. And yeah, we'll speak again when I have finished. So yeah, talk to you in a bit. As I've never cut greyboard in my laser before, I ran a material test grid just to make sure that my settings were okay.
I have a
and then
design
after
that
I
think
cut
I'm
my
happy
pieces
with,
out, I gave them a
at least for
couple
the
of coats
purposes
of
this
primer,
demonstration.
just so that
And
paint
over here,
wouldn't soak
on
into
this
the
side of
board.
the screen, I've got all
And then
the
after
copies
that,
of
I sprayed on
the
some
extra
bronze and gold
cogs and
metallic
groups that
paints
I made,
before getting
and
out
I'm
my
going to
acrylics.
cut those. And I'm going to come down to the area that I've called the holding area, which is here. And I'm just going to paste them. Okay, so I've got the extra copies if I need to refer back to them, but up here I have a nice clean workspace. Okay, so I'm now going to group all of those cogs and I'm going to make a copy of them and I'm going to paste them, and I am going to weld all of those together so that now becomes one solid item. And over here again I'm going to group them and I'm going to unlock my red layer. Come here, where are you? That's the one I want. And I am going to unlock that. And now I'm going to select everything and weld it. And let me change that back to cut, because that is going to be my base layer that will go on top of my picture frame. So let me put that away. So that's going to be the base of my frame that glues onto. And the next thing I have to do is decide about what I'm going to cut and what I'm not going to cut. And this is where we are. So this layer is going to be the base of my frame. At the moment it's set to engrave so that we can see it. I'll just change that to cut. And this is going to be kind of the first layer of decoration that's going to go over the top. Also currently set to engrave, but I'm going to set that to cut. Okay, so all of the spare pieces that were sitting over there, I've copied them and I've moved them to the canvas that I've called holding area. So this is the canvas that I'm going to be working on for just a moment. So I'm going to center my two my two base pieces. So this is going to be the actual frame of the frame, and I am just going to change those to cut, and I can just leave that as it is. So that is what I'm going to cut out, and everything is that's the bit that's going to hold the photo in, is what I'm trying to say. So these pieces here are all the copies that I made of the resized cogs and the groups that I was making, and I'm going to change all of them to cut. And as you can see, if I zoom in on this little group down here and click away, you can see that if I cut that as it is, it will cut everything. It will cut all the edges out and everything. So I don't want it to do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select it and weld. I'm just doing a little bit of vector editing here. I'm going to zoom right in so I can see what I'm doing, and what I'm actually doing is I'm selecting all the little nodes of the inner shapes and just deleting them. And the reason why I'm doing this is for two reasons. One is that you're not really going to see it, so it doesn't need to be there, and it will make the frame a little bit stronger. And the other reason is that it will speed up the laser cutting process quite a bit if the laser doesn't have to go in and cut out all of these little bits as well. Since I've never cut greyboard in my laser before, I thought it would be a good idea to run a material test grid to make sure that my settings were okay. And then once they were cut out, I gave them a couple of coats of spray primer, just so that my paint wouldn't soak into the board. And then after that, I sprayed on some bronze and gold metallic paints before I got out my acrylics. So all of these pieces, they've had a coat of primer, they've had some coats of metallic spray paint, and I've gone in with my sponge and my black and burnt sienna and burnt umber acrylics, so that they're all nice and grungy and aged looking. These two pieces, I don't need anything else done to them because everything pretty much is being covered up except for the corners, so I'll give them some love. And this piece, again, it's just the corners that will get that will be seen in the final piece. So I'm just going to play around with my various gilding waxes and rust compounds and things like that, and let's see where we wind up. So. piece, I downloaded the file from Creative Fabrica, and I'm just going to glue it onto the back of the frame using some hot glue. Here is the final result. And in case you're interested, the photo is my late husband, and it was taken when we went on holiday to a place called Bliss Hill, which is near Ironbridge, and they have created a 19th century village, and I highly recommend it as a place to visit. It's a wonderful place. This video, and if you did, please do click the thumbs up button below. And if you really enjoyed it and would like to see more, then please do click on the subscribe button. It's free for you, but it really does help my channel. For now though, thank you very much for watching, and I'll be back soon. Bye bye.